So I'm calling this video my GameCube journey, and of course, as usual, I'm just gonna wing it. Yeah, the GameCube for me has been always a very important console, and it's if you go back maybe 10 years, it wasn't my favorite console. Maybe that was the PS1, and over the years. The PS1 has definitely fallen out of even the top 3 for me. Yeah, it was fantastic back then. If I go back and think nostalgia about the console, of course it's up there. But to be honest, it has aged like shit, PS1, especially when the polygon graphic came. And most of those games, the 3D games, I would say it even aged worse than the Nintendo 64, to be honest, especially the 3D games. So yeah, this one took back the first spot of my favorite console of all time, even though Switch is now my favorite console of all time. Yeah, the GameCube is something I always loved, and why I call this my journey instead of my GameCube collection is because I went on a kind of a GameCube journey in the last, I would think, like 4 years maybe, when I started to swap all my PAL games for NTSC games. And that's mainly because most of the NTSC games put out progressive scan on the actual software, and they took that way in Europe. I think there's maybe 1 or 2 games that has that on in PAL. Of course, we got the RGB on our GameCubes in Europe and in Australia, which was good. But if you wanted to use the component cables, the expensive cables as fuck, there was no need to do that on the PAL system, because you know it wouldn't really work in that way it should work. That's why the cords, the component cords, was only released in Japan and America, where the software had had that on the software. If you can see there, progressive scan, I don't know if you can see that. Some of the games have that on there, even games that have it doesn't have that on there. So, but there's lists on YouTube, just Google it and you can find out exactly what games have it and what games doesn't have it. And I'm not talking about the 50-60 hertz thing that you could do with most GameCube games on the PAL as well. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about progressive scan that is actually on the software. So I started transforming my PAL collection to NTSC maybe 4 years ago, and I'm almost finished now. So I thought maybe I could show you what I got, and why I got them, and what my plans was to get the best picture out of my my GameCube. So first off, I bought this ages ago, Orange Spice one, and many of you guys that's been in the retro community or the gaming community for a long time knows about Frederick. And yeah, Frederick modded this one for me, so you got a switch here. It's RGB modded, a Japanese RGB modded system with a switch for NTSC-U and NTSC-J games, because there wasn't really, back when I did this, a chip that can make it totally region free in a a way that I could afford. So I was actually going for the, what's that called, the Eon Mark II that you put in the back of the system, and then I would have the M Classic in the back of it, and then HDMI to a modern TV to get the best picture. And then on Retro Realm, I think it was Retro Realm or the British GameCube group, this one came up, and that's with the expensive HDMI mod, and it was region free as well. At least that's what he said. So, and yeah, I bought the Game Boy player for the other one, so that's didn't come with this one. So the sad thing about this, that is the region chip doesn't work in this one, and I opened it up and sent it to Frederick, and he said it was pretty poorly made, and he will help me out with that, but I haven't been able to go there yet. So yeah, he's definitely gonna help me with that. Maybe even put one of those chips, if we got an extra one, in the other one as well, before I maybe sell that or whatever I do with that. So eventually I will have the best picture out of this one, and I will have the M Classic. If you don't know what M Classic is, just Google it and watch videos on YouTube. I've got the M Classic out here, and then the HDMI, and then to my modern TV. And why I really like the Gamecube, why I think it's one of the one of the best, or the best. It's not just the games and everything that's, you know, that came out for it. I think the Game Boy player is the best peripheral ever made for any console, to be honest. And it expands the library like mentally. You can play it on your telly. I use it mainly just for Game Boy Advance, because I don't really collect Game Boy and Game Boy Color anymore. But yeah, it is a fantastic thing to have, especially for Game Boy Advance, I think. It looks maybe not that good with Game Boy and Game Boy Advance, like Game Boy Color, but yeah, Game Boy Advance, yeah, totally. And if I get this everything to work, it will look even better. So like I said, come on, stay there. I'm winging this video as usual. This is part one of my GameCube journey. So I'm just going to start showing some games that I have that I swapped over to NTSC. And it's taken me quite some time, you know. It's not very often you see NTSC games sold here in Sweden. And so I got some here in Sweden, of course, through internet, our eBay, Tradera. And then I got some from Facebook groups here in Sweden, and then I got some from Retro Realm. Retro Realm helped me out a lot, and also the British GameCube collectors group as well, and yeah, some other places as well. I found NTSC games, so finally kind of finished, and I just started with this pile. I don't know why. First off, we got Metroid Prime. Absolutely love this game, and Metroid Prime 2. I'm really looking forward to, if they do the remastered trilogy, I'm definitely going to get that. And yeah, it also makes me a bit sad, because first time I played these games was with my friend Nicholas, my oldest and best friend, who passed along last year. So I always remember him when I see these games. That's the first time I played them. So see you on the other side, Nicholas. So that was Metroid Prime. Then we also got Metroid Prime and the Metroid Prime Echoes bonus disc one that came out in the US. I also want the, in the middle you have Metroid Prime and Wind Waker, Zelda Wind Waker. There's a double one for that as well, released in North America. Very expensive, that one though, but someday maybe. Then we get into the Resident Evil games. Some of them have better artwork than the European ones, but some doesn't. I don't like the first one, really, the American one. This artwork is much more boring than the PAL one, I think. But this is Resident Evil, the first one. These videos will only be 16 minutes long as this camera records, to make it easy for me. And there's so many people putting out videos right now because of the lockdown in many countries, and so you know, people probably only want 60 minutes. I think it's perfect. Second one is of course Resident Evil 2, which has a fantastic cover, the NTSC one. And also thing I want to say as well, all my games are in these protective cases, if they're, you know, nice nick and complete and everything. But in all my games, oh, this one doesn't have a. All my manuals have a protective sleeve for the manual, but this one doesn't, so I'm going to leave it out. And I also want the memory card for each game. So if you have a lot of original memory cards, I don't care if they're grey or black or how big they are, about medium size, you know, let me know. I want to buy them. So I'll put that one aside because I need to put that manual in a sleeve, because we are crazy like that. Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, and yeah, this is cool because yeah, the game just came out, the remake. So I don't even remember if I finished 3, to be honest, back in the day. I remember finishing 1 and 2 and 0 and 4 and everything, but I don't remember if I finished that. Resident Evil 0, actually really good game, I think. I love it. My favorite Resident Evil of all time, Resident Evil 4. And one of the vids I think will be, I'll be talking about all my Resident Evil games I have. Resident Evil 4 games I have, and the different variants, or in some part at least. I was going to see if this is one of the weirder versions I have. No. So this is how I want the games to be. Manual in a sleeve, memory card just for that game. So that's the goal anyway. Mad goal, yeah, maybe. I am pretty mental. And then a game I don't remember if I finished either. I think I finished it though, on the PlayStation 2. That is Code Veronica, and it's called Code Veronica X. I don't remember what difference it was. I think the most thing you got with the game was maybe in the Sega Dreamcast one, or maybe it was the Gamecube one. So yeah, but this is probably one of the more harder to get on the NTSC, especially in Europe. Then we got a pretty cool thing I picked up really cheap, and wow, that is with the Resident Evil 4 and Resident Evil 0. That is Pure Evil 2-pack. Of course the NTSC one, and it fits perfectly on a Japanese Nintendo 64 protection box, which was very awesome. So I was happy to get that, and both of those games are the what are they called in the US? Not the black version, not the black label ones. The other ones. So we're getting close to 60 minutes already. So I think I'm gonna end the video there, and this is where we started my GameCube journey. And I hope you stay on with me for a couple of videos, and we'll talk more about the GameCube and the games, peripherals, and all the, actually some of the PAL games I got as well, because I got some PAL games still that I'm going to keep in my collection. So yeah, stay on, and yeah, stay safe and be nice.